Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Fuzion. I'm just going to go through here how we break down our bonder, about how to use them at your desk to make sure your clients are getting the best experience. We have in the Fuzion line 3 different bonders. I started doing nails in 1992 and not one bonder has ever worked at my desk for every single client. So first bonder that I always go to is our Gription. It is our #1 selling bonder. It is a UV LED 30-second cure. Once you've prepped and properly cleansed the nail, it works for so many, like 90% of your clients, especially when you're using mainline hard gel, and it is amazing. So over top, the whole nail, natural nail and artificial product, tip, gel, whatever you're working with, and you're gonna cure that for 30 seconds. So that is always my first start. New client, always gonna go to Gription. I'm also always gonna use a base gel on a new client because I don't know her. I don't know if her nails have been a chronic lifting issue. She's new to me and I wanna make sure that she comes back. So I'm always gonna do that. Gription, cure it for 30 seconds, base gel, hard gel, yay. The next step is she comes back in hopefully 3 weeks and she's got a little bit of lifting. You know, maybe live in a moist climate, you're not really too sure. So at this point, I would troubleshoot with primer. So I would do the same thing again. I would prep her service completely, cleanser. I would do primer sparingly, tiny little bit of primer, just on the natural nail, let that dry chalky white, and then I would go in and I would put my Gription on, cure, do my service. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're golden. This is going to be the solution. If it now becomes a different season or something changes and she starts experiencing some lifting, I would just remove that primer. I wouldn't switch out and start using different bonders and get all confused. I would just remove that primer because maybe she doesn't need it anymore. Maybe there's not such a high moisture level. There's a lot of reasons why that would work. But let's say she comes back, primer, Gription, still not really working. Okay, well now that's when I would switch to Cohesion. Cohesion is an air dry bonder, which means it does not have to be cured, and it's going to be the same sort of process. So we're going to go in, we're going to prep, we're going to put the Cohesion over the entire nail, we're going to do our service. Again, I'm having problems with this girl, so she's always going to get base gel, always. And I'm going to use maybe SL Clear or SL Undercover or 5, whatever your preference is. I'm going to do her service, and when she comes back, I'm going to check for these same things. I'm going to do the same process. Okay, now she's had Cohesion. Maybe now she still is having some lifting or issues. I'm going to troubleshoot with that primer in, primer out, and that's my process. Now, girl comes back. This is now appointment 4 or 5, and she's still having issues. And sometimes 4 or 5 appointments can happen in 3 to 4 weeks, depending on what kind of a problem child client we're dealing with. And we love these clients because they teach us so much. I just call them problem children because they are a problem that we're trying to solve. So that's why we developed Problem Child. When we went into UV LED technology, what was working before stopped working for everyone. Not specifically everyone, but for this certain group of people, it was like no matter what we did, it was not working. So we went in and developed a new gel type bonder that was just really for these problem child clients that nothing else seemed to work. And what I want to say to you is if you are not a problem child client, do not put problem child on them, because if Gription and Cohesion are working just fine and you're like, oh, I got this problem child, I'll just put this on everyone, you will hate your life. You will not be happy with me and you will be calling me going, Cheryl, why did I do that? So do not do that. Use Problem Child as intended as a troubleshooter. So maybe just one nail. Maybe it's that nail that she writes with, or one nail that you just cannot keep on. You're going to prep that. At that point, cleanser, Problem Child, scrub it in. You still want to see a bit of texture. It's 2 smooth surfaces do not bond. So if you don't put texture, and I don't mean like grooves, I just mean like, you know, we're going to etch that nail. We're going to cleanse. We're going to scrub in that Problem Child. We're not going to float it in. It's the same thing if you're ever troubleshooting using Construct under your hard gels, which is a totally different video. You never want to have 2 smooth surfaces like that with a bonder to hard gel. And then you're going to cure that Problem Child and go through that same process. Now, if you go through all of this and she is still lifting, I want you to really go back and look at your prep, and I want you to really assess the health of her natural nail, and that will again be a totally different conversation. But in the spirit of my team being like, girl, you got to tell everybody this, here I am, and I hope this helps, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.